Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm sure many will remember Nelson Chamisa. He is the man who conned millions of Zimbabweans to participate in the flawed 2023 elections on the basis of an idiotic lie that he had plugged all the vote-rigging loopholes. He was going to win big. He was preparing to form the cabinet. It was God's plan. Only for Zanu PF to blatantly rig those elections, and for him to acknowledge that the elections were rigged. SADC and the AU election observers, they too condemned Zimbabwe's 2023 elections as flawed and illegal. And yet, he had conned millions to participate. And because millions of Zimbabweans had participated in those flawed elections, SADC and the AU could not go the extra mile and deny Zanu PF legitimacy. Well, the conman collected his 30 pieces of silver reward for giving Zanu PF political legitimacy, abandoned his party, claiming that it had been infiltrated by Zanu PF, and went on a sabbatical, political sabbatical. Well, guess what? He is back. He's on the campaign trail. He's promising to form a new political party next year. Could be in a matter of weeks, in January. It could be in June. It could be end of the year. You never know. It's part of his political ambiguity. But let me tell you now, when history comes to be written, Chamisa will go down as one of the nation's most infamous political conmen and liar. Talking of history, in this video clip, is talking about the country being full of dealers and not leaders. Let's listen to what he has to say.
It pains me. Instead of having leaders in government, we have dealers. Dealers are people who are there to take. Leaders are people who are there to give. Nations fall because they have more dealers than leaders. Nations fail because dealers take over where they're supposed to be leadership. Makomapera kuveurwa. Mamwane mparavara, mamwe aiswa panki, mamwe aiswa mohawk. Kondiani unogera makomo ekwedu. Wabvumizwa nani? Vamwandu kukanyaura ngani? Vamoti hayi wamatsotsa agerani. Kwari kuti gera ndiani? Uvanlo. But it's because we have dealers instead of leaders. And what we need to pray to God for is leaders. Because leaders give, dealers take. Are you a dealer or a giver? Of course, if you're in business, I understand. You're doing business. But when you're in government, the business of government is not taking, but giving. Therefore, our legacy is a legacy of giving. That is my speech today.
Well. He was in government during the GNU. What did he give? Let's clearly understand the primary papers of the 2008 to 2013 GNU was to implement the democratic reforms necessary to end the Zanu PF dictatorship, particularly to stop Zanu PF rigging elections. That was the primary purpose of the GNU. Zanu PF has continued to rig elections. It rigged 2023 elections precisely because no meaningful reforms were implemented. That is a historic fact. So what happened? Well, Mugabe bribed the MDC leadership with the E-Class Mercedes Benz limos for all the MDC leaders, from deputy ministers right up to the prime minister himself, and for the other MPs and senators, they were given $40,000 US to buy cars. And then there was generous salaries and allowances all round. And for Save himself, he got a US $4 million mansion in Highlands, etc., etc. And the MDC leaders, in appreciation of what the Mugabe had done to them, they kicked all the reforms into the Cactus thicket. Not even one token reform was implemented. Ever since the GNU debacle, the MDC-CCC leaders have participated in flawed elections, knowing fully well that the elections are flawed, knowing fully well that by participating, they will give Zanu PF legitimacy. But they did, because they also knew that Zanu PF was giving away a few gravy train seats to those willing to take up the seats, to participate in the flawed elections. We cannot run away from that fact. He himself conned the people of Zimbabwe to participate in 2023 elections, telling them that he had plugged the vote rigging loopholes. He has never admitted that he was lying. And now he is back. He's going to form a new party. And the primary purpose of that party will be to con the people of Zimbabwe to participate in 2028 elections, knowing fully well that no meaningful reforms have been implemented since 2023. He will tell them, the people, that he is going to win because God is in it. The people of Zimbabwe can end this nightmare of the Zanu PF dictatorship. We cannot end it by stopping Zanu PF rigging the elections. That opportunity, we had it during the GNU and it was wasted. Between now and 2028, it's too late to implement any meaningful reforms. What we can do is make sure that we do not participate in the flawed elections. Because if you deny Zanu PF political legitimacy, the regime will be forced into a new GNU as in 2008. And this time, we will make sure that reforms are implemented. We just need to be a little smarter. We cannot be conned to participate in another flawed election by our infamous liar and conman, Nelson Chamisa, again. That is the reality that the people of Zimbabwe out there have to face and agree to. We can do it. Let's just be smart enough to know a conman when we see one. And I say here that Chamisa is a conman and a liar. Think about it. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.